Welcome to Honeybee Yoga Studio. I post new videos of yoga classes aimed at yogis of all levels every week, so if that sounds like your thing, please hit the red subscribe button below. And hi yogis, welcome to a heart-opening, fiery flow. We're going to open through our chest, our hearts open up to receive love from others, love from ourselves, and warm up our bodies on this cool winter weekend. I have grabbed a bolster. We're going to use that in our last posture so we can melt into a supported heart-opening Shavasana. So you can grab a pillow, a cushion, or a yoga block, and let's begin. We're going to start in a seated posture, legs crossed, however feels good for you. Feel those sit bones settle into the earth. Let's take an inhale, bring those shoulders up towards our ears. Exhale, melt them away. Our hands can come onto our knees or thighs, or maybe come by our sides, resting wherever feels good. Let's let those eyelids get heavy and feel our attention, our awareness turn inwards. Feel your breath as it flows in and out of your body. Not making any changes to our breath, just feeling those sensations as our chest expands and rises, our belly expands, and then those opposite sensations as we exhale and melt a little bit into the earth. We're going to use our mind's eye to begin to visualize a warmth, a light right behind our heart, so right in our chest. With each inhale, that little light behind our heart starts to grow and expand. Deeper inhales, that breath expands further and farther. We feel that warmth begin to spread throughout our bodies. And let's make our final two breaths here extra big, extra deep, and encourage that light to travel all the way to our fingertips and to our toes. As we move through our practice, we'll see if we can hold this connection to our breath, keep that light like a warm blanket over our bodies. Let's bring a wiggle to our fingertips and toes. We'll allow our fingertips to come by our sides. If our eyelids are heavy, we'll slowly begin to open them as we inhale, sweep our fingertips wide up to the sky. Exhale, fingertips go wide and back to the earth. Let's do that another time. Big inhale and stretch. And exhale, those hands back by our sides. Let's take that left hand, bring it to the outside of our right knee. Right hand goes somewhere behind that right hip. Big inhale, lengthen our spine. And exhale, we'll bring that gaze over our right shoulder. Feeling a rotation through our spine, that left hand maybe giving a gentle tug on our knee to twist our gaze a little bit further over that right shoulder. Let's take another breath here. And let that exhale guide our way to the opposite side. So our right hand comes to the outside of our left knee. Left hand somewhere behind that left hip. Big inhale. And exhale, gaze over that left shoulder. This time maybe that right hand giving a little tug to our left knee, deepening our twist. Inhaling that tall spine and exhaling some softness into the rotation. Last breath before we make our way back to neutral, let's inhale our fingertips up to the sky one more time. And then as we exhale them, we'll sweep them to our low spine, interlace those fingers into a fist. And we're going to pull that fist towards the earth behind us. So our shoulders are pulling away from our ears. Our gaze comes up towards the ceiling. Feel that heart, our chest open forwards. Our shoulder blades squeeze together. Let's take one more big inhale and then use the exhale to melt forward, just hinging at our hips. Release the tension from those shoulders, your hands, and let your chin hang heavy. I'll take one more big breath here. We'll release our hands towards the earth, and we're going to lengthen our legs long into our mat. Once we feel nice and centered, let's bend at our knees. Soles of our feet come into the earth, knees lift. Feel your heart, your chest lift forward. Let's reach those arms forward. Then we're slowly going to tilt back just enough so we can lift those heels off of the earth. And we're kind of balancing on our tailbone. If our heels lifted are a bit too much, we can gently let them touch the floor. We're trying to keep that chest lifted, shoulders away from our ears, engaging through our core. Let's take one more big inhale, and then exhale, tilt forward. Take a breath here for a break, and then we're going to come back into our boat, and we're going to incorporate our arms. So when we're ready, lifting those hands, beginning to tilt back, lifting our legs. As we inhale, let's sweep our arms wide, shoulder blades squeeze behind us. Exhale, right hand to meet our left hand on the left side. Inhale, big and wide. Exhale, left hand to meet our right hand on the right side. We're going to do that 3 more times on each side. Exhaling to the left and the right. Big inhales. Left and right. Last rotations. Big breaths. Exhale to our left and to our right. Last big inhale. Sweep those arms wide. Oh, exhale, melt forward. You can let that chin hang heavy and release any tension through our hip flexors, our core. When we're ready, we're going to cross our legs, roll over our knees, and meet in tabletop. We have those hands under our shoulders, knees under our hips. And we kind of want to feel like the crown of our head is pulling forward as our tailbone pulls behind us. We'll move into our version of cat and cow. So letting your breath guide the way. As you inhale, belly button dips to the earth, gaze comes up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, that gaze comes to your knees and your spine presses up to the ceiling. Moving at the pace of our own breath, being as slow or as energetic as your body's asking for. Let's take 2 more full rotations. Inhaling into our happy little cow, and exhaling into our angry cat. We'll settle in our neutral tabletop. We're going to extend that right leg long behind us, paralleling the earth. When we feel balanced, we're going to reach that left hand forward. We're going to bring a bend into that back right knee, sole of the foot high fives the sky. We're going to reach that back left hand behind us And if we can, we're going to connect our hand to our ankle. If we don't make the connection, no worries. We can continue to reach, maybe use a strap. If we've made the connection, we're pressing that foot into our hand. Hand to foot connection is lifting. That left shoulder pulls behind us. Let's take a big inhale. And slowly exhale, releasing as we go. Left hand back to the earth, followed by our right knee. Take any wiggles, any wobbles. We'll move to the opposite side, lengthening our left leg long behind us, finding that balance. And when we're ready, reaching our right hand forward. Bending our left knee, sweeping our right hand behind us. Reaching for that ankle. And if we've made that connection, we're pressing our foot into our hand, lifting that hand to foot connection. That right shoulder is opening behind us. One more big breath. And then exhaling, right hand back to the earth, followed by our left knee. Let's tuck those toes underneath our heels. Press in through our hands and lift our knees off of the earth. In our little crouching tiger hidden yogi, we feel our shoulders stacked above the heels of our hands. Feel a 90-degree bend in our knees, our hips. Let's take one more big inhale. And then as we exhale, we're lengthening those legs, sending our hips behind us, and walking out into our version of downwards facing dog. Let's walk our dog by pressing one heel into the earth and bending the opposite knee, going side to side. So opening through our hamstrings, bringing some warmth into that upper body. Feels like our elbows and our armpits are kind of shining towards each other. We'll eventually find our way to stillness, bring our gaze up towards those hands, and walk our feet forward. We'll lift our hands to our shins, halfway lift, big inhale, and exhale, fold forward, unwinding our spine, coming all the way back up to standing. Those fingertips lift up to the sky and then melt through our heart. We're going to enjoy 2 sun salutations here. Let's inhale our fingertips tall. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, spine parallels the earth. Exhale, plant those hands. Step your feet back to a tall plank, optionally lowering our knees to the earth. After a big inhale, we'll use our exhale to lower our belly, our chest all the way down. Keeping those hands under our shoulders, we'll start to lengthen our arms, lifting into our version of Cobra. Big inhale at the top, those shoulders melt away from our ears, our heart opens, our chin lifts. And then we'll exhale, melt forward, tucking our toes, bending our knees, lifting through tabletop, back into that downwards facing dog. Take a wiggle and a wobble, shimmy and shake, and we'll bring that gaze up to our hands and walk, step, or jump those feet forward. We'll inhale into our halfway lift, and then we'll exhale to forward fold, and then slowly unwind our spine all the way back up to standing. Inhaling our fingertips tall. This time as we exhale, we'll sweep those arms by our side and behind us. And then when we melt forward, we swan dive that forehead all the way down to the earth. Hands come to the earth, and we inhale into our halfway lift. Exhaling, planting our hands, stepping back into our tall plank. Optional knees down, taking a big inhale, and then exhaling, lowering onto our belly, our chest, Hands under armpits as we lengthen those arms, lifting up into our version of Cobra. Another big inhale at the top. Oh, and then exhale, melting back to the earth. Tucking those toes, bending our knees, lifting through tabletop, all the way back to our downwards facing dog. Let's take a big inhale. Oh, and exhale. One more big inhale, press through those hands, tailbone reaches behind you. Exhale, bring our gaze up towards our hands, and walk, step, or jump those feet up towards our hands. We'll inhale to halfway lift, and let's sweep our hands behind us. And as we exhale, we sweep those hands forward, sink our tailbone behind, and we meet in our version of chair. So in our chair, we can take a peek down and see those toes. We feel our tailbone tucking. That low spine stretches as our tailbone tucks. Feel that heart, our chest lift. Let's take one more big inhale. Oh, and then we're going to exhale over long legs, fingertips to the earth. Let's step back with those right toes. Keep our heels lifted. Our feet should be separate like railroad tracks. And let's inhale our fingertips up to the sky in our version of a tall lunge. We're going to bring our hands down by our sides. We're going to flow here through reaching forward on our exhale and reaching behind us on our inhale. Those arms wide. So as we exhale, let's start to sweep our fingertips, reaching forward, sinking into that front left knee. And as we inhale, our chest lifts, fingertips pull behind us, shoulder blades pinch together. And maybe our gaze and our chin lifts up to the sky. Heart and chest are open. Let's do that 3 times at our own pace. So exhaling, reaching forward. Inhaling, melting that heart open. Exhaling and reaching. Inhaling into that heart opening back bend. One more time. Exhaling to reach. Inhaling. Let those fingertips reach behind. Your heart, your chest lifts up towards the sky. Let's bring those hands to heart center. Really pressing those hands together, sinking into that front left knee. Let's take a peek at that front left knee. A little peek at that right elbow. Take a big inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to see if we can connect that right elbow to the outside of our left knee. Long right leg behind us. Pressing those hands together, see if you can peel your belly button away from your leg as your chest, your heart opens to the left side. One more big inhale. And then as we exhale, let's start to get a little bit of momentum in that back right ankle. And when we can, we're going to step that right foot forward. Let's take an inhale in our chair twist. And then exhale, forward fold over long legs, fingertips to the earth. Let's take this forward fold as a couple breaths of respite. So if you'd like, we can heel toe those feet wide. Maybe bring a bend into our knees, come into more of a ragdoll, kind of like a standing child's posture. While we're here, we're feeling the differences in our body from the last time we were in a forward fold. That left leg, that left hip might be feeling a little warm. Let's take 2 more breaths before we move to the opposite side. Heel toeing those feet to come underneath your hips. Let's inhale to halfway lift. And as we exhale, fingertips to the earth, stepping back with our left leg, left toes press into the earth. Inhaling, fingertips tall, coming into our tall lunge. Let's bring those fingertips down by our side. And when we're ready, we're going to start to come back into our heart opening, melting forward lunge. That's the official name. Let's exhale, sweep our hands forward, sink into that front right knee. And then inhale, pull our arms behind us, chest lifts, gaze lifts, long left leg. Exhale, melt forward, moving at your own pace. We're going to do this 3 more times. Inhaling as your chest lifts, hands pull behind you. Exhale, melting forward, fingertips reach. Inhaling, so that heart lifts. Last time, exhaling forward. Big inhale. Feel those shoulder blades pinch together. Heart's open, chest is open, chin lifts. Let's bring those hands into prayer. Taking a peek at the outside of that right knee, a peek at that left elbow. And inhale to bring length into that spine before we exhale, twisting that left elbow to the outside of our right knee. Once again, those hands are pressing together. Our chest, our gaze is opening to the right side. Seeing if we can lift our belly button away from that thigh. Let's take one last big inhale. And then as we exhale, get some momentum into that left ankle. And when we can, stepping that left foot forward beside its right partner. Settling into our chair twist for just a breath. And as we exhale, fingertips to the earth, long legs. Once again, we can widen those feet, bring a bend into our knees, make this posture as restorative as you need to. If you prefer to come down to the earth into a child's posture, of course, you're more than welcome to do that. While we're here, checking in with that right side body, that right leg, feeling all of those differences. And maybe it's a little bit warmer too, like our left side. One more breath here. And when we're ready, fingertips on the earth, we'll heel toe those feet to come underneath our hips. We'll lift our hands to our shin as our spine lifts into our halfway lift. And then exhale, melting forward and slowly unwinding all the way up to standing, lifting those fingertips up to the sky. And then exhaling them wide into our hips. Let's take a peek down at those feet. We're going to step our right foot about half the distance of our lunge. So not all the way to the back of the mat, but maybe about halfway. We want both of our sets of toes pointing forward. We should have the entire sole of our foot in the earth. So if that means you have to step that right foot a little bit more forward, then let's do that. Feeling those hips next to one another, we lengthen our legs. Our shoulders lift, crown of our head lifts as we inhale. And then as we exhale, we'll start to hinge at our hips, folding forward. Hey, Oliver. We're going to keep our spine lifted. We want that spine to parallel the earth. We're going to take our hands off of our hips and we're going to let them rest on our low spine. We're going to stay here for 3 full breaths. While we're here, we can keep our arms just like this. Or if you'd like to, you can come into reverse prayer, pressing those hands together. Either way, we want our shoulders pulling away from our ears, those shoulder blades pinching together. Last big breath here. Let's bring those hands to our hips as we lift tall, stepping that right foot forward. Let's give those legs a little wiggle. That always makes my hamstrings warmer than I anticipate that it will. And then this time, let's step that left foot about halfway back. Once again, long legs. Our feet, our toes are both pointing forward. Hands to our hips on an inhale. And then we'll exhale, hinging at our hips, bringing our spine to parallel the earth. So it's a very, once again, active pyramid. That tailbone pulls behind us as our crown of our head pulls forward. Let's bring those hands to rest at our low spine. Once again, we'll hang out here for about 3 breaths, optionally pressing those fingertips, palms of our hands together behind us in reverse prayer. Let's take a big inhale and exhale. Last big breath here. And when you're ready, releasing those hands back to our hips, lifting tall. And let's step that left foot forward. We'll inhale our fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, melt forward, fingertips to the earth. We'll inhale to halfway lift. And then exhale, fingertips to the earth, and we're gonna sink those hips, that tailbone, all the way down to the earth. So we're in a very deep squat. We're gonna see if we can use our core and our leg muscles to sit down behind us. I'm gonna use my hands, because I know I'm gonna flop down. Boop. But either way, we all meet with our feet reaching forward, our tailbone on the earth, long legs. From here, I'm going to bring a bend into that right knee, bring the right sole of my foot to the inside of my left thigh. I'm going to take a big inhale. As I exhale, my gaze comes to those left toes, and I'm going to walk my hands towards that left foot. My spine melts atop that left leg, and I'm going to keep that right knee pressing towards the earth. That spine should be nice and warm so we can let our chin get heavy, kind of tuck, and feel lots of length come into our spine. One more big inhale. Reach those fingertips forward. And exhale. Melt and release. One of our next inhales, we'll start to drag those hands back towards our hips. Let's bring that right hand to come somewhere behind that right hip. Pressing that right knee into the earth. We're going to lift our hips. Balancing on that right shin, left foot stays in the earth as my left hand reaches up to the sky. You can reach that left hand as far behind as feels good for you. And then exhale back to the earth. We're going to switch those legs, lengthening our right, bringing our left sole of our foot into our right thigh. Giving Oliver a well-deserved pat on the head. He had a really tough nap. Kudos, Oliver. Once again, big inhale. Our gaze comes this time to those right toes. And as we exhale, we'll melt over our right leg. Those right toes continue to lift. And with every inhale, we'll walk those fingertips a little bit further. And every exhale, we'll melt a bit closer to that leg. One last big inhale. And exhale. Let's drag those hands back up towards our torso. Bring our left hand into the earth. Pressing that left knee towards the earth, we'll lift our hips. This time that right hand reaches behind us. Long right leg. Hips are lifted. Heart is open. Cat is purring. It's a good day. One more big inhale. And then exhale to slowly lower back to the earth. Let's bring those legs to cross in front of us, rolling atop our legs through tabletop. We're going to lower our belly, our chest, all the way into the earth. We're going to reach our arms, our hands by our sides, reaching behind us, reaching towards our toes. Keeping our upper body pressing into the earth. Our gaze comes just to the top of our mat. Pressing through our hips, engaging through our glutes and our hamstrings. We're going to see if we can lift our toes, our shins, our knees, and as much of our thighs away from the earth as we can. Really squeezing through those glutes, pressing our hips, our pubic bone into the earth to leverage those legs to lift. Let's take another big inhale, squeezing, and then exhale to release. This time we're going to keep our legs heavy, our hips heavy, our feet in the earth. And as we inhale, we're going to lift our arms, reach those hands behind us. And as we reach behind us, we'll start to peel away our collarbone, our chest, our sternum, our bellies, engaging through that back body, that low spine. Feel that entire back body engage. All that warmth starts to build. Let's take another big inhale, and then exhale to lower. This time we're going to engage our entire bodies in the full expression of our locust. As we inhale, start to lift our toes, our knees, our hands, our shoulders, almost kind of balancing on our abdomen, our hips. Big inhale, squeezing through those glutes, our shoulder blades squeeze together. Our back body feels warm as every muscle is squeezing together so we can lift our chest. Big inhale. Oh, and let's exhale back to the earth. Let's bring a bend into both of those knees, lifting our feet and our ankles up towards the sky. Let's take a little rotation through our ankles in one direction, and then in the opposite. Let's reach back with that right hand towards our right ankle, our right shin. And now you can stay here and do one side, and then halfway through, move to the opposite side. Or if you'd like, you can do both sides. Hello, Oliver. Oh my goodness, every time. Both sides at once. So let's reach that left hand behind, Reaching towards my left ankle. Staying low to the ground for just a moment. And then let's press that hand to foot connection together as we lift our chest and our bellies as far as we can off of the earth, lifting our knees, pressing those heels of the feet towards the sky. Let's take a big inhale and exhale. If we're doing one side and then the other, we'll release our right hand and foot so we can move to the left side. If we're doing both at the same time, we're going to stay here for one more breath. Big inhale. Oh, and then exhale to lower. If we're going one side and then the other, on our left side, we should enjoy one more breath before lowering to the earth. Once we all lower to the earth, let's take those hands to stack and let our chin come to rest on those hands. Feel those ankles, those knees, our hips, our belly, pressing into the earth, heavy, heavy. And then when we're ready, we're gonna do our super fancy yoga transition of rolling like a log onto our spines. Whew, being mindful if you have a fireplace behind you. Letting that spine come into the earth. We'll bend at our knees and bring the soles of our feet into the earth, about hip distance apart. And let's shimmy them a little bit closer to our tailbone, then they may naturally fall. Our hands are long by our sides. Palms of our hands are pressing into the earth. And we'll enjoy a big inhale before we exhale and lift into our version of bridge, pressing our heels into the earth, feeling those hips lift. We'll take a big inhale at the top, and then exhale, lowering those hips back to the earth. The next time we lift, I'm going to provide an option for our arms. There's no pressure, of course, to take it. You can just hang out as is. Let's take a big inhale and exhale, press through those heels, lift our hips. We're gonna stay here for a couple of breaths. So if this feels good for you here, let's hang out here. If you practice often and you'd like to lift into your version of wheel, let's lift into our version of wheel. Alternately, hey Oliver, let's take those hands and intertwine our fingers underneath our tailbone. And we're gonna start to pull our arms together, tucking our shoulders, our triceps underneath our upper body, providing more lift and opening through our heart and chest. Whether we're in wheel, a lower bridge, a bridge with our arms, wherever we are, let's take one big inhale. And then lower those hips back to the earth, untucking our arms. Let's bring those knees into our chest. And give our low spine massage. We'll bring those soles of the feet to the earth. We'll let our arms fall to the earth with a 90-degree bend in the elbows, so cactus arms. Let's bring those knees up into our chest, and we'll release our knees all the way to the right side. We'll let that left hip stack atop our right. Keep those elbows wide, heart open. Optionally, that right hand can come atop your left knee. And maybe that gaze comes out our left side. Let's start to come back to neutral, releasing that hand if it's holding, and then bringing those knees atop our hips and then letting them fall this time to the left side. This time maybe that left hand comes atop our right knee. And maybe that gaze comes out our right side. One final breath here before we roll back onto our spines. Now, before we settle into our final resting posture, I am going to roll up and I'm going to grab my pillow, my bolster, my cushion, my block, whatever I'm using, and I'm going to place my support so that it comes just behind my shoulder blades, just behind my heart. I'm going to let those legs be nice and long, and then I'm going to slowly release my body over top of my support. My arms are going to open into those cactus arms. Whatever version of our final resting pose we've taken, if we've chosen to put something behind our chest to provide one last big heart opener, or if we're just enjoying our regular resting posture, our regular Shavasana, that's fantastic as well. Whatever we're doing, we're feeling good, we have heavy eyelids, and our body is going to start to get exceptionally heavy. With every breath we exhale, every breath we release, we're also going to release a little bit of our weight into the earth. Our heels, our calves, our hamstrings, our thighs are heavy in the earth. Our tailbone, the nape of our neck, our shoulders, and our arms are heavy in the earth as well. Our spine is draped atop our support. Our heart and our chest open to the world. Ready to receive love, ready to give love. Our lips may be together, but our teeth are apart. We have a soft jaw, smooth forehead. And behind those eyebrows in our mind's eye, let's start to picture that little light, that little fire that we built behind our hearts at the beginning of our practice. Let's start to refuel that fire with our breath. Each inhale, that fire, that light getting bigger and brighter and spreading further across our body. And let's take the next several breaths to encourage that light, that warmth, to travel all the way to our fingertips and to our toes. Let's take an extra big inhale and exhale. One more big inhale And exhale. Let's bring a wiggle into our fingertips and our toes. Give a gentle shake of our head, no. Nod of our head, yes. And let's bring a bend into those knees. And let's slowly let our knees fall to our favorite side as we roll into a little ball on our favorite side. Being mindful of the support that might be beneath our bodies. Maybe moving it out of the way before we slowly lift, coming through a seated posture. Nothing fancy. You have cross legs, long legs, butterfly legs, whatever feels good, so we can close our time together. Thank you, Oliver, for gracing us with your presence today. Let's let those fingertips come by our side. Now let's take a big inhale, sweeping our fingertips wide and up to the sky. And then exhale those fingertips wide and back to the earth. One more big inhale. Fill that chest, that heart. Fill all of that space we've created. Let your hands come together. Those hands melt all the way down to your heart. And let's take a bow for ourselves and a bow for our practice. Thank you so much for practicing with me and Oliver today. I hope you have an open heart, you feel fantastic, and enjoy the rest of your day. If you did enjoy this video, please give us a thumbs up below. And if you aren't already a subscriber, we would love to have you as a subscriber. Take care, and we'll see you guys next time.